Hi, Christopher Lovewood. How are you doing? So today we're gonna be doing some Trinidad aloo pies. So that's what we're gonna set up to do, right? So I'm gonna put my pot up to boil, and we're gonna get going, right? This is the pot that I'm gonna be using to boil the potatoes in. By my grandmother, her pipe has the hot and cold side, so I'm just filling the pot with hot water and I'm gonna put it up on the stove. So we're in the kitchen, just not my kitchen today, but we're in the kitchen. Right, so our pot has hot water in it, and I'm gonna allow this to boil, to come to a boil. You do have to salt your water. So we have some salt here, and I'm gonna salt the water. And in the meantime, I do have to cut up the potatoes much smaller so that it's just easier, or it cooks faster. So I have my cutting board here. Right. And I have about 1, 2, 3, 5 potatoes here already peeled. My grandmother cut them for me. Right, we got our knife, and I'm just gonna cut them not too small, just for them to cook a lot faster, which, you know, reduces the amount of time that we spend in the kitchen. So this size of potato is ideal. I have to wait, well, I am choosing to wait till the pot comes to a boil. You don't have to wait, but allowing it to come to a boil, it reaches the perfect cooking temperature, right? So most times, you all would have seen me eat doubles, or even sometimes aloo pie when we go to buy doubles. But we're in the kitchen today cooking our own aloo pies. Right, so y'all are gonna get a little bit of that. I do have a recipe on my page with aloo and cheese, so I put cheese in it and we made an aloo and cheese pie. I don't think I have a raw aloo pie by itself on my page, so y'all can get the full tutorial on that here. Hi Mama Glue, how are you doing? So today we're making Trinidad aloo pies. So we already put up our pot with hot water, and we are just waiting for it to come to a boil. So I'm just cutting up. Hi Mara. So we're just waiting for it to come to a boil. We already salted. Thank you, Girl Dad, cooking up deliciousness. Yes, remind them to like and subscribe. Right, so what we're doing is we're preparing the potatoes. We just want our potatoes in a smaller, like just diced a bit, because we want the potatoes to cook a bit faster than usual. We still have to knead our dough, so we just started, so no worries about that. So we're just preparing the potatoes in the meantime, and like I said, I'm just dicing them a bit smaller so that they cook faster. My pot has hot water in it. I'm just waiting for it to come to a boil before I put in the potatoes. Alright, so just dicing up these potatoes. And I live, if you know me, you know I love doubles and aloo pie and all those delicacies. Love them. Love those street food. So it is considered like a breakfast option, or sometimes even a snack option here in Trinidad. When you go to doubles vendors, you will find them also selling aloo pies. Majority of them sell aloo pies with their doubles, but today we're not buying any aloo pies, we're making our own. All right, so I'm just dicing them up. We have, what you cooking? I'm getting items prepared to make Trinidad aloo pies. So our water has already started to get the little bubbles, so just now it's gonna be coming to a boil. So when it comes to a boil, that's when we're gonna add in our potatoes. The water is already salted, so we don't need to add any additional salt for boiling purposes. When we are actually gonna mash it, then we may add a little more salt based on your taste buds, right? But for now, the water has salt in it already. So we are just cutting up some potatoes, and I am on my last potato to cut up here. This one is pretty big, so it can cut into 3 slices before being chopped up. And then we're gonna knead our dough. Alright, one down the middle. I think it's delicious. Oh, it definitely is delicious. I also buy aloo pie. My husband buy aloo pie for me whenever we go to buy doubles, wherever we go to buy. If they have aloo pie selling, he usually buys one for me to taste, see where has the best aloo pies. So I think it's delicious. It definitely is delicious. And you could add your own condiments to it. Sometimes you can just eat the aloo pie by itself. So it's flour filling with it's a flour outside with a potato filling, and when you cut it open, you can actually add more things like chana. You could add your sweet sauce, you could even add chadobeni sauce. You can add all of these things to your aloo pie. So it's kind of universal. The aloo pie is just a base. You can go ahead and add anything additional that you want to it, right? So we're finished cutting up. Could be about an hour and a half. That's the time it's going to take us to prepare and cook everything. So I'm just wiping off where it was wet, putting my things to the side, and our potato is cut up. So I'm just going to switch the camera for you all to see. So our potatoes are cut up and they are in water, right? Our water has started to come to a boil, so I'm gonna add these in. These potatoes are washed already, I just needed to cut them up. So I'm gonna begin putting them into the pot. Don't want to get burnt. Definitely don't want to get burned. I was initially supposed to come back and comb my daughter's hair, however, she fell asleep, and that's fine. So she's still asleep, so I didn't get to comb her hair, but I did get to do a takedown of it and wash it. So I'll have to do the combing another time. So in the meantime, we're making a little snack for later, which is aloo pie, right? So all our potatoes are in the pot there. I'm gonna dry my surface, and then I'm gonna get another bowl to start to prepare the dough. So I have a silver bowl here. And I have my measuring cup, right? So today's flour is the ibis all-purpose flour. Hi Aratamak, how are you doing? Is ibis flour and all-purpose flour. So I'm not using baker's flour or anything like that. I use all-purpose. Okay, nice. I'm using the all-purpose flour because it's just universal. You can use it to just make about anything. Bakes, cakes, sweet bread, you name it. You can make just about anything with your... Okay, nice. Quintet. Alright, cool. Thank you for the updates. With all-purpose flour. So it's universal, so I like to use it. So we're going to do... let's say we're going to do 4 cups of flour. Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you. So we're going to do 4 cups of flour. Alright, so it's entirely leveled off. Now, I do know there are wet and dry measuring cups. I am using the wet measuring cup to measure out, nice, to measure out my flour. So this is number 1. Number 2. Number 3. And number 4. So we have our 4 cups of flour. Right? Next we're gonna add salt, and you're gonna need approximately 2 teaspoons of salt. I know what it looks like, so I don't have to measure it out, but if you don't know what it looks like, 2 teaspoons of salt is what you're gonna need, right? We have our yeast, and you'll remember I said I don't really use Fermipan yeast, but this is the yeast that my granny uses, so this is what we have to use today. I don't use it for bread simply because it releases that yeasty smell, which is what I don't like. So you're not gonna find me using this to make bread, but to make aloo pie you don't have to leave it to rest for too long. So you can go ahead and use it for like your aloo pies, your sada, your bakes, and those sorts of things. So I'm just gonna get scissors to cut this out. You're gonna need approximately, hi lyrics, hi again, you're gonna need approximately 1.5 teaspoons of yeast for this. So this is 1.5 teaspoons. Right, gonna set that aside. I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of baking powder as well. 1, 2, and I'm also going to add 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. 1, 2, good. So I've just had the water running a little bit so that I could get that lukewarm water that we are looking for. We're not using hot water, we just want like a lukewarm type of feel. Good. So we have gotten that. So I have 1 cup here of water. I'm gonna mix my dry ingredients first. Close down the pipe. What you cook now, I miss. No, I've just started to knead the flour for our aloo pie. So we put up the potato on the stove to boil, and now we are making the outside part of the aloo pie. So I am just mixing our dry ingredients, right? And what we would have put in here is 4 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of yeast, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder, as well as 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. The brown sugar is gonna help it's kind of like a feeding agent for the yeast to become activated. All right, just want to make sure that everything is mixed well into the flour, and then we are going to start. We have 1 cup of flour here, and like I said, for our flour I use the same wet cup measurement. So I didn't use a dry ingredients measuring cup, I used the wet, and I'm going to gradually add in our water. And you're gonna need that in. Thank you, Yara Tamaka. And I'm gradually adding in the water. You don't want to add in the water too much, and then it's too much water for your dough, right? I will show you guys another angle of it just now, but I just want to knead this up, right? So 1 cup is finished. Hi, Anawa. Right, we do need another cup of water. I just want to let the pipe run for a bit so that we could Dramatic. We are making Trinidad aloo pies today, for those of you who just tuned in. Nice. So we have our cup here. Right, I am doing great. So we have our cup of water here, and we are kneading as we are going along. We are throwing in water, well, not throwing in, but pouring in water. While we need all the flour to come together, right? So as you would notice, beautiful girl who know how to cook one. No, I am married already. Thank you. Right, so you'd notice that as I'm kneading the flour, I am turning the bowl at the same time, because we want to make sure that we get all of that dry flour into our dough, right? You don't want to have any extra flour loose in the pot at all, in your bowl, sorry, not your pot, but in your bowl. Alright, I do have to add more water. Nice. Thanks, Yara Tamaka. Right? And as your flour, as you start kneading, your flour is going to start sticking to the sides of the bowl. You want to make sure that you know, scrape it off and add it in. So for those of you who are new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Cherise, and today we are making Trinidad aloo pies in my granny's kitchen. Alright, we do have some loose flour here, so just want to scrape it off. And you are going to knead your dough for roughly between 4 to 6 minutes. Right, we want to really activate the gluten in our flour. So let me just give you guys a quick view of what our dough looks like. So this is what our dough looks like. Everything has came together really nicely, so we're just gonna knead this for about 4 to 6 minutes, right? And I'm using my fingers to pull the dough, and then the palm of my hand to push the dough. Right? I just want to get this excess flour off of my fingers. You don't want anything to be wasted. Right? Want to make sure all of that is in there. So we used roughly 1 1/4 cup of water to our 4 cups of flour. Right? Once we're finished with the live, I will put the measurements down in the description below, so you all could come back and get the exact measurements on what we use for our aloo pies if you all are interested in making this. Right? So I'm just kneading the flour and I'm pulling. Let me see if I could put this on the counter for you guys to see, right? And then I'll put it back in the bowl. So I'm pulling and pushing, pulling and pushing. Thank you, Slime Mongoose. Hello, welcome. Right, I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna roll it around a little bit. We really want to activate the gluten in the dough. So because it's out of the bowl, I'm using this other hand as a support to kind of roll it around, right? So I'm gonna put it back into the bowl so I'll have a little more control on the dough. Aloo it down already. Aloo it down. Right. Also, you want to get a sort of a smoothish dough, not too smooth. Alright, so you can flip it over and let me show you guys what it looks like. So this is what our dough looks like. Alright, very nice. And we do need to cover it down with a damp cloth, right? So let me just go get a cloth to dampen it, and then we're gonna leave this to rest for about 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. You don't need to allow this to double in size. You don't need to do that. It's gonna get bigger in the pot when you start cooking it. So you just need it to rest for a little bit to make sure that the gluten and the yeast has been really fully activated within your dough, and then you can begin to boil them out into small layers. But in the meantime, we're just gonna cover this down. So let me just wash my hands, and then we're gonna get a cloth, wet it. Hello, Queen of Trinidad. Thank you. So I'm just gonna wash my hands, get a cloth to dampen it, and allow this to rest, and then we will check our potatoes, right? So let me just go wash my hands and I'll be right back. I could use this cloth to wet it. Yeah. And while we're covering it down with a damp cloth, we don't want the moisture to come out of our dough. So just want to keep that soaked in there. I'm going to take you all on the next side so that we can wash up the dishes, and then we'll check our potatoes to see if they're ready, right? Oh, let me make sure and wipe down my counter as well. Because we do need to come back and use the counter, so we want to make sure that it's clean for when we're ready to use it. So I have to make sure and put back these things up in the cupboard. Right? Alright, nice. So we are by the sink, and I'm just gonna wash up. Oh no, right. I'm just gonna wash up our wares here that we use. Right, and then we will go back and check the potato. It's very important to, once you're in the kitchen cooking, make sure and, oh nice, love that, to ensure that you wash up your wares after you are finished using it. It just minimizes your cleaning time after you finish cooking entirely. Saves you time on spending to just clean up the kitchen afterwards, after you've already finished cooking, you know. So you want to make sure our utensils are cleaned. Nice. And I am gonna get a pot spoon and a fork to check the potatoes, right? So let me take you guys on this side. So this is our pot here, and you can see that the fire is blazing even though it's on a low fire. And if the fork can go all the way through, it means that our potato is ready to come off. But I'm gonna give this like 5 more minutes. Alright, so in the meantime, I will start to get the items that we need to season up our potatoes, right? So you're gonna need jeera, this is cinnamon powder, brown clove, and garam masala. I'm not home, I'm by my granny, so I have to look through her things to get the items. And garam masala, what is this? Ground roasted jeera. Bingo! Got it. Ground roasted jeera. That's what we need. Right? So we have that, also known as cumin. Some persons may know it as cumin. If you don't know it as ground roasted jeera, you may know it as cumin. Right? So we have that. We're gonna need salt. I'm going to get the seasoning from the fridge. We don't need to chop up fresh seasoning because my granny already made seasoning, so that's a plus there. Good. So we have some, hi, we have some fresh seasoning. Well, it's almost finished because she seasoned chicken today, but this is gonna be enough for our potato, right? This is chive, shadow benny, garlic, and pimento grind up, not blended up, but grind up. All right, so this is what we're gonna need. I do have to get a bowl to put our potatoes in. We do have to mash that potato, right? So I don't need too much of a big bowl, so this bowl I think is not gonna be big. Okay, yeah, this one is better, right? So we're going to strain our potatoes. And when I say strain your potatoes in something like this, so that the potatoes remain in here but the water comes out of here, right? So let me just set you guys back up on this side to see what we do. Don't know why it keeps coming off. My apologies, guys. Right. Good. So we're just gonna pour the potatoes over into that. And you hold it by the handles and let the water drain out like that. We don't want any water in there, right? And I have my other bowl here. I'm just gonna pour that across. Simple. Don't need these things on the stove, so we're just putting them into the sink right here. So this is the utensil that I'm gonna be using to mash my potatoes, right? And of course, firstly, we're just gonna mash the potatoes without adding anything in it as yet. You just want it to come like a mashed potato, except you're not adding butter in it. You're just mashing the potatoes. Nice. Thank you, Yara Tamak. I do need to get something to hold the sides because the bowl is getting hot. Alright. I'm just mashing it. Good. So let me show you guys what it looks like. So this is our potato just mashed by itself, right? Now I'm gonna add salt. This is based on your liking. Okay, nice. This is based on your liking, so you could add how much salt you feel free. You could feel free to do that. That's based on your taste buds. So I added in roughly like one tablespoon of salt, right? Because as we know, potato absorbs salt, right? We're gonna add in that green seasoning. I'm gonna add in all of this. I'm gonna use my finger to get out the balance because I want all of the seasoning in here. All of it. Nice. And we have our roasted jeera or cumin. I'm adding in about 1 tablespoon first, and then we could always adjust the taste after. Right? I'm going to give that a mix. You want to make sure all of those ingredients are fully incorporated into your potatoes, because this is our filling, so this is where we're going to get most of the flavor from. So before I add anything else in it, I'm going to show you guys, potato is hot. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. So this is what our potato filling looks like. Very nice. I do think I want to taste it first, and then I may need to add more jeera to it, but I want to taste it to be sure. Needs a little more salt and definitely some more jeera. Salt, that's gonna be ideal. So you can say I add in 1 tablespoon, and then I went in with a teaspoon of salt, and about 1 teaspoon of jeera again. Right, I'm gonna use the smaller spoon to incorporate this set. My counter is clean. See why it's so important to keep your counters clean? Nice. So our filling is finished. Alright, so I'm gonna turn the camera again to show you guys what the filling looks like. To me, this is gonna be ideal. I'm just kind of clearing my space once more. I'm gonna put my filling to the side. I'm going to add a little bit of oil to my surface, just a little. Right. And this is for us to put our dough on, our little dough balls. Alright, so this is what our dough looks like, and I'm just gonna start pulling out pieces from the dough. Alright, right. I walk through wonders. So the oil on our surface is just gonna help maintain. Is it sticky? No, it's not. Right, it's just gonna maintain that moisture and lock in all the additional moisture from inside our dough. And as you can see, we have a nice smooth dough. So I'm gonna put that onto our counter. And I'm just pulling out piece like that, and I'm kind of squeezing, pinching and going around to seal off that end there, and we have a nice smooth dough. You don't need to make your aloo pies too big. While I'm doing this, I think I'm going to add my pot to the stove and allow my oil to begin heating up, because for aloo pies you want to make sure that you have a nice hot pot, right? I just want to do a few to kind of cut down on how much dough we have in the bowl, and then I'll put up the pot. Alright, and we're just pinching just to seal off the end like that, and flip it over and apply it to your surface. Like that. We do still have to open out our dough, so you don't want to take out too big of a chunks of dough, right? Squeeze it. When we are finished making all the doughs, we'll know, all the dough balls, we'll know exactly how much aloo pies we get, right? I will do a slower one for you all to see how to roll it. So when we pinch off our dough like this, what you're gonna do is flatten it and then start closing up the ends, rolling it, closing it up, rolling it, closing it up. And then once all the ends are folded in, you're gonna just start pinching the top of it like this, like that, and then you flip it over. I do think I could probably go back in and half some of the first set of doughs that we put down, because they are a bit big. And when the aloo pies open out, when you put the filling in and the aloo pies open out, they get bigger. Hi Russell, how are you doing? We're making Trinidad aloo pies, and if you have ever been here when I was eating doubles, you would have seen me eat aloo pie as well. Flatten it and then fold in the edges like that. Alright, so this is the last of the dough. However, like I said, I want to go in and cut down. I am great. I want to go in and probably half some of the first sets of dough that we made, because the balls are a bit big. Alright, so like this could go in half. Yeah, because some of them are a bit big, and like I said, when we start putting the filling in and opening it up, it's gonna get bigger. So you don't want too much of a huge aloo pie. You want it just ideal enough, you know. And because they are a bit opened out, well, you know, when I say opened out, I mean open out to the atmosphere. Some of them have started to, the top of it has started to dry down, so we have to move quick because we are by the stove. Even though the stove isn't on, the area is pushing a heat, you know. Bring this in together. So like I said, I was just making a few of the ones that we did previously a bit smaller because they are, you know, big. They all don't need to be perfect size, but you want them to be like, you know, an ideal enough size for essentially what we're making. Nice. Don't need to be too big. Leave this one as is. Right, so this is what our dough balls look like. They are not all the same size, and they don't necessarily have to be the same size. So while they are like this, we're gonna cover them with a damp cloth. Thank you very much, Yaratima. We're gonna cover them with a damp cloth, and then we're gonna begin to put up our pot with oil to heat up. Right, so I just have to wet this over because it has dried up a lot. Nice. And we're just gonna cover them down because we don't want the top of them to get dry. Right, I have to get my pot. This one? So this is the pot that we're going to be using. Alright. Alright, and then we're going to put our oil in there. So this is our pot, and you wanna fill it up with oil. All right, that's gonna be good. All right. Let me see if I can mount up my tripod on the side of me so that I could angle the phone in such a way that you all would be able to see how we're frying it, right? So we have my tripod here. Making aloo pie girly, right? That's Portugal. I'm just setting up my tripod to see if I can show you guys an angle in the pot. For when we start frying it. Thank you. No, that's not yours. That's not yours. Let me just give my daughter some juice. So let me see if I can angle this for you guys. Here. Nice. Not sure if y'all are gonna see. I do think I need to take it down a bit more. Right? I think y'all will be able to see it there. But I do need to show you guys how we're filling the aloo pie. So I'm just gonna put it back on the counter, and I have my position in here so that when we start frying it, y'all will have a view of what it looks like when it's being cooked, right? So let me just take my phone back out of here. Next, set it back up there. I'm gonna just coat my hands with a little bit of oil. One of my friends taught me this trick. Alright, we're gonna take our dough, flatten it out, open it out like that. And we have our filling. Thank you, Yara Tamak, and we just have this amount. Put it in the center, and then you're gonna fold this all the way over like that, and sort of close it up like that. Alright, and then you're just gonna flatten out your aloo pie. So we got roughly, I didn't even count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So you can get roughly 20 based on how you open out your dough balls. Right? So our aloo pie is opened out like this. So I'm just going to set it on the table so I could do a few, and then we're going to put them on the surface. Right? Just want to even it off, fold it over like this to close it up, and you're gonna pinch the edges like that, and then flatten it. That way inside the potato, all the potato will be evened out throughout the dough. Right? And as you can see, this is why I say you can make your dough smaller, because it's pretty big. Right? Our fire is pretty heat up. Alright, I'm gonna put our filling in very nicely like that. Spread it as much as you could, and then fold it over. And just spread it like that. Right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set back my phone up on the tripod so that y'all could see it frying. Nice. Let me take it down a little more. Alright. Just for y'all to see. Good. So we're gonna put it. Let me get a bowl. About 90. Right, in order to catch the excess water, I'm putting a brown bag, or you could use paper towel, in a bowl. Right, like that. And I'm just gonna set it on this side of me. I'm gonna put this to fry. And what we're gonna do is just throw the oil on the top of it. I do have to turn back up the heat. Flip it over and just allow this to get brown in color. I like to cook one at a time though, so that you don't, you know, it's not overcooked. My God, right. Allow this to get brown. You want it to be a nice golden brown color, so I do have to turn back up the heat a bit. So while we're waiting for that to brown, I'm gonna just be filling a few more. Right, perfect. So it's a nice golden brown color, and I'm just gonna put it on the side. Gonna put another one to cook. Be careful with the oil, and as the top of it starts to swell, you're gonna just keep pouring oil to the top of it so that it raises evenly. Once it's raised enough, I'm just going to turn this over. Be careful when you're turning it over. Alright, and now we're just going to allow this to get golden brown. And in the meantime, we can go ahead and do some more. I do want to turn this over so that the other side can get a golden brown color. Alright. I'm just filling a few others while we wait. Alright, this one is ready to come out now. Set that to the side. So this one has started raising already on its own, and I just want to throw some oil, or you could flip it like this so that it raises evenly. Alright, now we just want this to get a nice brown color. No more. You're not getting any more right now. Do you want some water? It's wet. Put it in the same thing. Alright. Very beautifully. Right. So we just want this to get a nice golden brown color. Yeah. Okay, she don't want it. She don't want it. She don't want it. Right, so just want to make sure this is brown on both sides. You don't want it too brown, because unless you like a crispy aloo pie, then by all means, but this guy is ready to come out. Right, put it to the side. Like I said, I'm pouring oil to the top of it. Yeah, it does taste really good. So you want to do one at a time so that you could have individual attention, or give individual attention to each aloo pie to make sure that it's cooked properly. So this needs to be flipped over. Alright, and this is ready to come out. Nice. I'm gonna put in another one to cook. This one is a bit smaller than the others that we just made there, which is gonna be ideal for like the children. Alright, so we just want this one, wait for it to get brown. And while we're waiting for it to get brown, we can go ahead and start putting another few. Hi. Yeah. I'm just getting something for my daughter. Right, nice. So our aloo pie is ready to come off the stove. Oops. Right, and into that brown bag there, put in another one. Just keep pouring the oil over the top of it so that it raises evenly. Flip it over and allow it to cook and do its thing. Alright, so I'm going to take you guys back by the counter with me. Alright, 1 second, guys. Good, so we're just gonna turn over our aloo pies. This one got brown really fast, so we just turn it for it to get brown on the other side. Open out your dough like this. Put your filling in. And fold it over, squeeze the tip of it to seal it off. And press it down to spread it open. Right? And this aloo pie is ready. I'm gonna put it in the pot, in the bowl, sorry. And I'm gonna put this one into the pot now. You're going to keep pouring oil over your aloo pie. Flip it over and allow it to raise on the next side. And we're gonna wait for that to cook a bit, right? And we still have some more here to prepare, so we're gonna do that. Spread it open. Put our filling in. And then fold it over. Make sure your filling, try for your filling not to come out. Like that. And then press it down. Sorry guys. Squeeze it and press it down. This way, when we press it down, it's just gonna evenly distribute the potato throughout the entire pie. Spreading our dough open again. I'm gonna take this out, put that to the side. I have another one to put in. Alright, let me see if I can. So that is just some excess potato filling that came out of probably 1 or 2 pies. We're just gonna keep pouring the oil on the top of it. Flip it over. And it would raise on this side. I'm gonna wait for this to get a nice brown color. So you see it has already started to get that golden brown color. And in the meantime, this is what we have here already. So the brown paper towel is just gonna catch the excess oil that we didn't get out of the aloo pie. Turn this over again so that the other side can get a nice brown color, a nice golden brown color. Look at that. She's a beauty. Let me put it over here. Sorry guys, there we were reconnecting. For some reason we got a bit disconnected. Okay, I'm gonna put this right into our frying pan. Goodbye, thanks for coming. And we are just pouring that oil over the top of it, and then I'm gonna flip it over and allow it to get a nice golden brown color. Right? In the meantime, we do have a few more to fill. Put in our potato filling on the inside. Fold it over and squeeze the top of it like this. Thank you for coming. Alright, and we're just gonna put that aloo pie there to the side, and we're gonna prepare another one. Alright? Yeah. closing it up again. The kitchen can get really, really hot when you're making these pies. I can tell you that. Alright, just gonna put that to the side. Our pie is ready to come out. Nice. Gonna put another one in. Alright, nice. We just have a few more. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have like 7 more to make. Open it out. Make sure I'm put your nice filling in there. Alright. Cover it over and pinch the top. Good. Oh, nice. Got some serious watch hours there. Are you still seeing my goal live on top of my page, guys? My stickers goal. Are you all seeing that still live? Or has it expired? So that I'll know to put up another one. Let me know. Yeah, it's there. Okay, nice. Thank you, Christopher Labor. Thank you so very much. So our pies aren't taking that long to cook anymore because the oil is pretty hot. Y'all don't forget to hit us up with those stickers. It's gonna be greatly appreciated. We are almost at 4,000 watch hours. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you all aren't subscribed yet. Turn on post notifications for when we go live. To be in the know for when we go live. 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's how long I've been on so far. Yeah. Beautiful. We don't have shadow benny at home here, otherwise I would have made like a shadow benny sauce. To put inside of the aloo pies. Gonna put another one into the pots. Always like to make sure that we pour that oil to the top of it so that just so that it raises evenly. Beautiful, guys. You all should see this one. Let me show you guys. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. And we're gonna turn it over. And now it's just for her to get brown. Now it's for her to get brown. So our dough has kind of puffed up because of the yeast. Right, so that's why you don't need to leave it too long to raise as a whole, because it's gonna raise individually. have to flip this over so that the next side can get a golden brown color. And we want to pinch and squeeze like that, and then flatten. Make sure the top of it is closed out. You don't want to you don't want the potato, the pie, to open out and all your filling comes out, right? So nice, guys. Look, let me show you guys how this one came out. Look at how beautiful this one came out. Gorgeous. Time to put in another one. Just pouring that oil. I love aloo pies. Now it's just for her to get brown. Just have like 5 more to do and we'll be complete. Open it out. Put that filling in there. If you want me to put it now? Yeah. Oh, you want me to come and do it? I'll come. So the baby just fell asleep on grandma, so I'm just gonna put the baby onto the bed for her. So just give me 1 minute. Hey guys, we back. Now our aloo pie is finished. Alright, we have to put another one in. Flatten it out, and like I said, you don't need much oil on your surface. It's just gonna help the dough open out smoothly and prevent your dough from drying out. More flour is gonna dry out your dough. Spread it open. Beautiful. You have a bowl that you want to put this in, like outside of this big bowl, like one big bowl. Yeah. Well, not necessarily, just like for the, I have the blue one here. I have the big blue one. Yeah, that's too small. Take the camera one. Take all the cover first. Alright. Alright, so I'm just gonna put a few of them inside this bowl. Just transferring it into the front bowl. I'm not using my hands because the oil on it is still a bit hot. You don't want to get burns from oil. Good. So you can just set this to the side. Nice. Just have like 3 more to put out in bowls. Kitchen is pretty hot when you're doing this and like doubles and aloo and puree. The kitchen tends to get really hot. Beautiful. And just closing it up and then spread it. Yeah. You all should smell in here right now. Smells divine. haven't made aloo pie in a minute. Superhero? Yes.
So if I just smoke, that's what I then look at. I won't change. I just change that one already.
You're very bonus to buy?
And the front one. Yeah, they buy already by reliable.
Okay.
When you sell my patch, they're a little cheaper now.
Okay.
I think 35 for the small one and
Right. So we just have 2 more to fry. And then our cooking will be completed. I cannot wait to taste this. Probably call my son to taste it with me when we are finished. The key also is not to have your fire too hot, like all the way blazing. You want to have like a medium flame, medium to low flame, not all the way low, but like medium to low. Never medium to high. Your pies will burn and the outside will be cooked and the inside will still be raw. Yum. Beautiful. So this is the last one. We're just waiting for this one on the stove to finish cooking and then we'll put the last one in. So essentially we got 19 pies and all our filling is also finished. We don't have any filling remaining and we did like 5 potatoes, but that was like 2 big ones and 3 really small ones, which may work out to be like 1 pound of potato. You know, based on how much you're making, you would know to lessen or add more ingredients, double up the ingredients if you're doing more. But we got like 19 pies with 4 cups of flour, but more so you would probably get like 20 pies because I did have a really, really big one. That was quite fine for me. Someone here is gonna watch that and be like, that big pie is mine. Alright, so I'm just gonna clean up my counter because we did put oil on the counter, so you want to make sure your counter is clean, right? And pack away everything that you obviously used. Yes, somebody's gonna look at that big pie and say that one is mine. No doubt about it. So we're just adding some cream cleanser, but it's a bit thick. Okay, it's coming out. sister is here. So I guess we'll let her taste the pie also and see what she thinks. She slept. She had too long wake up. Yes? Right, and we are complete, so you can take off the stove and the gas. Don't forget to take off your gas. Right, just cleaning up my counter. Then I'll bring the pies to show you guys what they look like. So this is our pies here. I'm gonna put the hotter ones to the side here. These pies are really hot, guys. Alright, so we made 19 pies. Let me show you what they look like. So these are our beautiful aloo pies. Look at them. Look at that. Right, so I'm gonna open up one. Woo. So inside of the pie has the potato filling. It's really hot. See if I call my son to come and taste. He's been saying, "Mommy, can I taste? Can I taste?" So let me call him. So we're gonna taste it again.
Yeah, I'm in the cake.
Right?
And yes.
Hot.
No.
Come.
I don't think it's okay.
Come. Come.
It's better for my leg.
Okay, I will taste it first. Dana, we're opening my sister. Dana.
Michael. Is that one here alive?
Just now.
You just come here when it's thing take you. You don't walk with nothing.
So,
That's not
I'm gonna let my sister
I'm
taste
going
it.
back 6 back in.
Yeah, shut up.
because I'm buying. I can't to buy it. I'm
Where is
buying
it?
it.
Yes, I'm good.
Well, let me taste it.
I was well hungry.
When I got people in our life. Look at my grandmother taking from a pie.
Everybody tastes it, so I can't taste it.
Hey guys. Pie bus. They love it. Where anybody? The thing right over there. Guys are there. Oh yeah. Long time I didn't make a pie and my own pie. Oh, this pie is really good. When I go home. Yeah. Well, that's the day. Oh wow. Thanks, Sarah, so much. So. Oh yeah. Tastes good. Tastes real good. So that's it for this one. We made beautiful aloo fries. Right? We made beautiful aloo fries. For those of you who were on from the start all the way to the finish, thank you so very much for tuning in. I'm gonna share this aloo pie now because I know they are waiting for this. But thanks to everyone who tuned in and who usually have on their post notifications for when I do go live. Thank you all so very much. For those of you who always contribute stickers, thank you so very much. It's greatly appreciated. Well, my Sabbath is coming, so I don't think I'll go live on my Sabbath. But if you all see me, or if you all want to see me, make sure your post notifications are on, and I'll see you all in the next one, guys. Bye.